Ladies and gentlemen, this is the state of the scene.
What the fuck is up, Warped Tour? The state of the scene at SOTS Podcast on all social media. Sam here with Marcos. What the fuck is up, Marcos?
Not a whole lot. I mean, well, damn. Now the energy feels
in music. A lot happened.
A lot of things.
Yeah,
there's things happening everywhere.
It was a fun week, kind of, sorta. Coming up this episode, Loathe have returned with their first new song in years.
What?
Silverstein tee up their second new album this year.
Bow.
Electric Tallboy and Blind Channel each lose a member.
Stop.
And Hayley Williams is featured on the new Turnstile single. Maybe. Kind of, sort of.
Member? No.
Bro, I cannot keep doing this thing where you're live reacting to the news.
I had to delete Twitter for the show to survive. We already discussed
shit,
this.
Bro. It is the wildest shit.
I think I'm coming back soon. We'll see.
You think you're coming back to Twitter?
Hey.
You gonna make a big show of it?
Of course. Of course. But you know I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get mine in when Sleep Token drops.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna get some points on the board when Sleepy drops.
Yeah. Sleep Token and Marcos return to Twitter drop the same day. Everybody brace yourselves. Marcos, before we get into all that, we went to Hell's Kitchen over the weekend.
The one and only.
Yeah, the restaurant. So for people who don't know, Hell's Kitchen is an American TV show starring a British chef who runs around and yells at everybody for like an hour. I've never watched it in my life. I tried. I can't do it. I don't know about you.
Stop.
So you have watched this?
You're not a fucking Hell's Kitchen fan?
I was like, okay, all right. So a couple things. You are, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
I can't do shows where people I can't do shows where people yell at each other.
You got a lot of weird.
It gives me fucking anxiety. I could do music where people are yelling. Can do that, no problem. Love it. Can't get enough of it. Shows where people are always yelling, can't do it.
You're a loser.
I can't like sit through it. Like it just makes me like miserable. I don't know what it is. Like it's just the energy. I don't enjoy it. It's like the opposite of like cozy TV watching.
He's good at it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I do appreciate fucking raw. Like I appreciate
it. Comes out great
it.
when it's all said and done.
I've heard all the sound bites. They sound cool. But I just I can't have somebody. Maybe there's some level of, because it's also like.
Did you when Architects dropped in a clip of Gordon Ramsay screaming at someone? Did you have to like mute the song at that moment?
Yeah, it's an interesting
so it
question.
wouldn't like trigger you.
No, I think outside of the context, it was easier for me to like digest. I think there's also a certain level of like, having been like a retail worker, like the idea of like a manager like yelling at me, I think does give me a lot of like.
I would never work in the restaurant.
Give me like bad vibes. I couldn't do it, bro. I'm not built for it.
They are though.
I was barely built for fucking retail, bro. They chewed me up and spit me out. It was brutal. But anyways, we went to the Hell's Kitchen restaurant, and everybody there was wearing like their cute little bandanas, and like, I'm Team Blue, you're Team Red. Let's see who makes a better beef Wellington. Turns out all the beef Wellington was just really good, and the sticky toffee pudding was really good, and the vibes were good, bro. Nobody was yelling,
brother.
It was like if that was the show, like if the show was just like everybody was just kind of like vibing, you know what I mean?
It was a little bit of like, I think I needed a little bit of theater to really like.
Yeah, you needed like
pull me in.
Yeah, I understand that. They did do like some weird shit where like every once in a while they would be like, "Yes, chef, yes," or like whatever. It's like I don't really know what they were doing. Yeah. You know what's ironic?
What?
I can watch people yell at each other on the bear, no problem. That I actually really enjoy.
I know. So I'm sitting here listening
as
to you. As
theater, I really enjoy it. I think it feels too real for you when it's reality TV.
It's not.
Gordon Ramsay does actually.
TV is not real.
Gordon Ramsay really is upset at these people for fucking up his steak dinner.
Killing me.
Legitimately, like I think he's just like actually pissed, and like I can feel it. That or he's like an amazing actor.
We didn't just spur of the moment go, by the way. It's not. We're not going to Hell's Kitchen for fun.
No, well, sort of though.
Well, but like it's a once in a long while thing.
Oh, you're trying to make it seem like we don't have like money pouring out of our pockets before we
money like
before we pitch the Patreon.
Our Patreon's not doing that good.
Yeah. Thanks, listeners.
Anyway, Sam's getting married.
Yeah, that was part of my bachelor party. It was fun. I think I'll go back next time I get married. What did you do?
This was like in the immediate aftermath of the bachelor party.
Yeah.
went up to Maine and went and caught a show without you. Spur of the moment,
Concert?
unplanned.
It was a concert?
Okay. Well, it was unplanned for me. Because I forgot that the girlfriend and their dad were going to a venue in Maine.
Hold on, can I guess? Can I guess, please?
Yeah.
Can I guess? Is it the band with the guy who like wrote and stars in The Bear, Maddie Matheson? Like, is it his hardcore band? Is that what you went to see? Because that would have been cool.
Imagine.
That would have been like a crazy thing to break here on the show.
It will be insane if you know who this person is, because I didn't.
Damn, let's go.
But they're older.
Okay.
They're my understanding, after like reading up a little bit, getting like the DL from a partner's dad.
It'd be so funny if you were like, I saw Bruce Springsteen. You're like, I don't know if you heard of this guy.
Bro, you heard of Metallica?
Born in America? It was a mid song, but like people really went crazy for it. You heard of Bob Dylan?
Buckethead?
Buckethead? No,
Do you know who Buckethead is?
Who the fuck is this?
So Buckethead is this like underground solo artist, guitarist only.
Well, like Polyphia or some shit?
Identity unknown.
Shut up.
Sleep token style.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wears a bucket over their head. Buckethead.
Okay.
So you can't like see them. Wears like a mask under that bucket so
Okay.
you can't see their face.
Sure.
And then they just have like curly hair or something.
I like that. I like the idea
outside
that
of
like if you rip Spider-Man's mask off, he has another mask underneath
Right.
it, so you still can't identify. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
so and I mentioned this like in after the show ended, we're like in the car like reminiscing about it or whatever. I'm sitting there like, it would have been cool if Bucket had removed the bucket to reveal another bucket, which they didn't at any point do.
That's like, it's like that tweet where like that old drill tweet where he's like, I removed my Joker mask and I'm wearing like a V for Vendetta mask underneath it. Everyone groans at my shit. Yeah.
Exactly.
You went to a concert. I'm sorry. You went to a concert with your girlfriend and her dad?
My girlfriend and their dad. Yeah.
Did you guys hit the mosh pit?
We did not hit the So the energy of the show is fucking weird, Sam.
Yeah.
First of all, like, it's at this place called the State Theater in Maine where like
Big?
Sleep Theory are coming through soon with like that tour.
All right. So we're talking like a 1,200 seater?
Probably like a 1,200 seater.
Okay.
So like the show sold well enough. Apparently they come through like once a year.
Yeah.
But like there was some weird there's definitely like all sorts of people. Like there's 9-year-olds, there's 50-year-olds, there's 60-year-olds.
Buckethead's got a crazy range.
Got the range. But then you also have like the dudes who can't hold their liquor, like Meathead, fucking.
Sure.
At some point, like
you don't have to talk about
Buckethead
yourself
comes
that
out.
way.
No opener, by the way.
No opener?
8 p.m. show.
He didn't have like pale
Plays
face
for
go
like
on?
an hour-ish.
Get it? Like pale?
Yeah.
Like face? Swiss.
And like the Rory guys are like out there and they're like, he's just playing guitar, but he plays the guitar super well. Like,
did he have
there
any
are
bangers?
riffs and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Like
He had
there
some
were some
bangers?
neat parts.
Okay.
And then there are guys who are just like throwing their hands up as he's playing the guitar. And I'm sitting there like,
Okay.
first of all, he's not gonna fuck y'all. And second of all, like, what is this energy? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is not how you react to music.
Do you think anyone's ever turned around and looked at you singing along to a Bad Omen song and they're like, he's not gonna fuck you, bro. Chill out. Like, bro, why are you trying to harsh their vibe? Like, they were having a good time at the Buckethead show.
They sucked.
This is their sleep token, according to you. They sucked? Now they sucked? I thought you said they had bangers.
No, not Buckethead.
Okay, Buckethead was good, but those fans sucked. Gotcha.
Those fans sucked. No, it was just a lot of people standing around and just kind of like watching.
Did you have a drink at the show?
No, I didn't have a drink at the show,
I'm
Sam.
just curious. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the vibes of this show was.
It was pretty much in for about an hour 10 and out.
Oof.
So like
strict headliner show, hour and 10 minutes, bro.
Well, you know, it was a lot of the
I could get used to that.
Doors at like 7:30, show starts at 8, but like they don't come out until like 8:20.
Sure, everybody's got to hit the
out
bar
of the
first.
venue at 9:20 type thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. Buckethead Sam is really weird. At some point, look them up. They release like fucking 12 albums a year, and it's all just like random, you know, songs where it's like all of them are 30 minutes long.
The first picture I got here is a guy with like he's wearing like one of those plain
it's a KFC bucket,
murder face masks and like a KFC bucket. Yeah.
That's the vibe.
He's 55 years old.
We're not supposed to know.
Wait, he strictly wears KFC buckets?
Yeah.
How is that? How do you not lead with that?
Well, I was going to, and then you asked questions and interjected.
So what you're telling
You
me is
interrupted
that
the story.
he drops like 12 albums worth of material a year, which just sounds like he empties his hard drive from all his demos. It just lets people have that shit. How many? Did you check his streaming numbers on Spotify?
They're impressive
healthy
enough.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Can't believe I never heard of Buckethead. We're gonna. I promise you, like somehow.
Let us know if you've heard of Buckethead.
We're gonna be doing the show like 3 years from now, and like reading somebody's press release, and we're gonna be like, yeah, this album was inspired by like a lot of them. You know,
Buckethead's 92 classic.
Yeah.
Chum Cummer or some shit.
Fucking god, bro. I was gonna. What's the KFC thing? Like 13 secret spices or some shit like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think he's done that album?
You've been to 3 concerts this year. One of his Buckethead is crazy, bro.
I've been to 3 concerts this year.
That sounds about right, doesn't it? Eminence. The other one had to be 3. Had to be 3. Had
maybe
to have
even
been
4.
3. I can't think of the other one, but like bare minimum, it'd be embarrassing. We had been to at least 3 shows this year.
We've been to 3. Let's move on. What else is going on?
Everything you need can be found in the description of this episode, including our playlist updated weekly with every song you hear on the show and more. Socials, merch store, Discord, and Patreon. All Patreons receive access to our deluxe episode feed. Honest to God, don't even know what deluxe we're doing this week. But the last one we did, the AMA from patrons, that was a lot of fun.
That was a ton of fun.
That was a fucking lot of fun. Patreon tier start as always just $3 a month. Patreon.com/SOTS podcast. If you want your name featured at the end of every single video we do, including this podcast, that's also a tier. That's my favorite tier. You can get that as well.
The news.
In the news this week, Toxicity, the acclaimed album from System of a Down, disappeared from Spotify for approximately 24 hours this week, but now appears to have returned for most users. Marcos? Spotify can't do this shit.
Is 24 years old?
Gone
for
you're
24
saying this is like
hours?
A marketing thing?
Marketing, Toxicity,
Shut the fuck up.
24-year anniversary, triple Lux.
Holy fuck, you cracked it.
Did
Bro,
I crack
you
it?
cracked it.
Am I cracked, chat?
Yeah, no, you Sherlocked this thing. This is really interesting. That's a good point. All right, here's my gripe, right?
Mm-hmm. Toxicity wasn't like that wasn't like a one and done with a label, right?
No.
Because otherwise I would have expected other material to leave.
As far as I know, I don't know. I saw something going around where people are like, yeah, a lot of like these bands sign like deals where like their music is licensed on the platform for a certain period of time, and then like it can fall off if those like licensing deals are not renewed.
These deals don't exist. I've never seen them.
Here's my thought. I feel like there should be like a window where it's like, you know, when you're like late on like a payment for like your car and they're like, you're not really late for another week. Spotify should hold that album for a week and they're like, let's figure this shit out. Not just like, oh, it's immediately off the platform. Like that's insane shit.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
There should never
be like
moment.
a grace window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there should never be a situation where Toxicity is not on Spotify.
You're saying it's kind of toxic.
The like head should roll. I'm saying like people should have gotten fucking fired over this. Like if I log into Spotify and Toxicity is in there, I want names, I want badges, I want guns, I want like,
oh my,
it's the like, you clear your desk out at the end of the day if you let that shit happen. You know what I mean?
Oh, all right, shit.
Here's how I'm feeling overall. Like there are some albums where it's like, okay, yeah, it's off Spotify for like a month. They're like, hey guys, did you notice that like this old album from like fucking The Cab isn't on Spotify for like 3 weeks? And I was like, no, I didn't know this. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It'll come back.
Right.
Toxicity by System of a Down? Like, do you know how many streams
It's a
that
big
must
album.
still get every day?
So not a promotional thing you're thinking?
Absolutely zero chance. So people are saying that like System of a Down did seem to be like making some changes to their artwork. So who knows for what fucking reason they would be doing that.
Artwork.
Yeah, like on some of their albums, like changing like the color thing or something. I think they got it from Spirit Box, to be honest. But this band is like double, triple, quadruple down on the fact that they hate each other and they never want to make music together, but they will
Since
play live
when?
events. What do you mean? It happens all the time. One of these guys does an interview and they're like, yeah, unfortunately the vibes are off, so I don't know if we'll ever record any new music.
Yeah, but this band's not officially on like hiatus, right?
No, they're literally playing shows. They just announced shows
So
with
what
like
the
Deftones
fuck are we
and
talking
shit.
about?
I don't know, man. I don't know what goes on with these older bands, bro. You think they'd be able to put their differences aside long enough to write a song that's like, oh, I squirt in the bathroom, right? Or whatever the fuck System of a Down sings about. You've never heard a System of a Down song?
Well, I mean, it's just...
Bro, every System of a
Out of
Down
nowhere
song is
like
like light switch on, light switch off, light switch on, light switch off, riffs.
I don't think that's...
It's like that's every fucking System of a Down song.
Alright,
It's
shit.
absolute fucking innate bullshit. It's good. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying that somebody at Spotify, like I'm saying, take it to the top. I'm not saying like the CEO of Spotify should issue an apology. It's that good,
All right.
but it's silly. Emergence by Sleep Token enters in the top 10 on Billboard's mainstream rock airplay chart this week. Interestingly, Billboard noted it's the band's first song to hit the top 10 on rock radio. So, Summoning didn't do it. The fucking 5 other singles on Take Me Back to Eden didn't do it.
None of this shit makes sense to me.
None of the songs from any of the prior albums did it, obviously. But fucking Emergence, boom, rock radio, top 10. Additionally, Damocles charts at number 2 on Spotify's Top Songs Debut USA, Marcos, outperforming new tracks from Benson, Boone, Shabuzi, and Megan Thee Stallion, amongst others. The only song that they didn't top was the new track from Lordy.
Lord.
I know. I do it to bother you.
Shaboos.
Can't help.
well.
Shut up. Is it actually
Yeah,
Shaboos?
just shaboos.
What the fuck is the Y doing at the end of it?
I'm fucking with you.
Okay, don't do that to me. You imagine if you came at me and you were like Megan the Stallion? And I'm like, no. You won't get me on that one.
Bro, Benson
I
Boone.
studied that game.
Benson Boone sucks to suck, my boy.
Benson Bone, yeah. Got absolutely fucking rocked by Sleep Token. As did the rest of these people. How fucking insane is that, dog?
It's pretty crazy.
Sleep Token is going to be like one of the... Sooner or later, we're going to start getting articles from like bigger publications that are like... Variety's like, we sat down with Vessel for an exclusive interview. You know what I mean? Like, sooner or later, they're going to be that big.
Men's Health exclusive interview with Vessel from
Lollapalooza headlining over Green Day and Charlie XCX on the next fucking Lollapalooza. This is big shit right here. This is radio and fucking fuck you, Benson Boone. Fuck you,
Ghost
Shabuzi. Fuck you, Megan Thee
recently.
Stallion. You know how fucking insane that is?
It's crazy. I still think the Ascension is like, this all feels so fucking not real, not happening.
Surreal. Yeah, that's precisely correct. That's surreal. I don't obviously listen to fucking radio ever in my life,
Bro,
period.
shut
But it
up.
would be
That Shabuzi song rocks.
It would be no. This isn't about Shabuzi. I'm saying it would be fucking cool to accidentally listen to the radio one day and Sleep Token was playing.
So random.
That would be sick. That would
Do
be
you
dope
think-
as hell.
Okay, are
Yeah.
we at the point where Sleep Token Grammy nomination a sure thing plus performance?
Without a shadow of a doubt, rock album Grammy
Shabuzi
nomination.
performed Grammys. Benson Boone recently at the Grammys. Megan probably a couple times at the Grammys.
I don't know, because there's such an insane level of disrespect for rock artists where it's like, I don't even know that the Grammys would consider Linkin Park, who is probably the peak of rock music right now, for a performance. That's how much disrespect they have for rock music.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, they ain't even slide like 21 Pilots in there. You know what I mean? Like, the Grammys could not give a fuck if your name is not like Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo.
Fair.
Electric Cowboy drummer David Friedrich has parted ways with the band after 13 years, Marcos.
This is a bummer.
Yeah, it was very amicable. Like, the statement from Electric Cowboy is like, we wish our boy well. It's just like we've come to a crossroads. It's the end of a beautiful journey and we're going our separate ways. Like, nothing crazy.
I mean, it's always sad though when, and I'm sure they have a great reason, but
Yeah.
I mean, Electric Cowboy's past like 5 years of those 13 have been the most like fruitful, the most craziest.
You think he's cashing out? You think he held in this long and now he's cashing out?
I mean, I guess could be cashing out, but in my opinion, it's like they're now missing out on like the next best thing that is to come next.
That's a fair point. I wonder, I'm going to assume that he had like critical involvement in the next album. I'm going to assume.
I would guess.
Right? It does beg the question. So Rock Sound put out like a new cover for like the digital magazine or their magazine or some shit, whatever. And it's like the 5 current members of Electric Callboy. This begs the question. Do you think they'll officially replace, or do you think touring drummer? As a 5-piece, I feel like you're already splitting them royalties to a degree that you're not eager to invite somebody else officially into the fold, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would always be cool if this band was a 6-piece, like they have been.
I mean, they'll still present as a 6-piece, you know what I mean? On stage, they'll be a 6-piece. Theoretically, in their music videos, they'll have a fucking drummer. It just might not be like an OG, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one of the official boys.
I don't think we get an official replacement, but if we do, then I'll be pleased.
Okay. I thought you were about to say I will
pleasantly
throw my David to the hat.
Surprised and pleased.
Like, I would be glad to be the drummer for Electric Callboy. Blind Channel have parted ways with vocalist Joel Hoka. Took a snippet out of their statement, Marcos. 12 years is a long time. This is the statement from Joel. 12 years is a long time. The growth from high school boys to successful musicians has been a journey like no other. The past few years have pushed me to my limits, and ongoing sleep issues have made touring impossible. I've come to realize that the intensity of this lifestyle just doesn't align with my health right now. I'm beyond grateful for everything these years have given me and wish my brothers all the best in their future endeavors.
Very similar situation, at least on its surface, to what happened with Rio when they exited
Crystal Lake,
citing some sort of sleeping disorder where they partnered with the touring lifestyle, just could not maintain their health the way that they'd like to. So, hearts out to Joel. Doesn't seem like something they really want to do, but kind of have to do. Their hand is forced.
Blind Channel's whole dynamic is one that the 2 vocalists are seemingly critical to their sound. Do you think that they'll bring in another vocalist, or that they will just continue with a singular voice fronting the band?
That's really hard to say.
Isn't it? I'm trying to think if we've seen other instances where there have been 2 vocalists in a band. I guess maybe Under Oath comes to mind. Well, no, because Aaron did step away at some point, and like Spencer was like strictly the vocalist. I See Stars, I guess, would be one that really hit home for me when it happened, but ended up working out, I suppose.
Sure. I don't think I feel too strongly one way or the other if they get a replacement vocalist or if they don't. In this instance,
it feels like Blind Channel still like
don't hold them quite as near to my heart as I do a band like Electric Callboy.
They all feel like they're so much more in their infancy as well, too. So it's like any dramatic change to Blind Channel doesn't feel like it would be that disastrous for what they do moving forward.
I don't know if they're in their infancy exactly, but
I don't think Blind Channel has been around that long. You told me they've been around for like, damn. All right,
right at the top of their
statement. Yeah, but you gotta do like popularity math. Like Blind Channel
5
hits
years of like grinding.
Blind Channel hits like 45 minutes before COVID. Like they got a good 5.5 years of like the spotlight. Spencer Sharness of Ice Nine Kills confirmed that the band will be dropping a new single this summer and to expect a new album in early 2026. He did so by tweeting with an immense amount of sarcasm that the band has not been writing any new music, and these 2 specific things absolutely would not be happening. But because I have a
this summer.
High level of like reading comprehension.
Yeah.
I was able to decipher this tweet in a way that many commenters on my post could not. Bro, I fucking share this story on Facebook and people are like, he literally said the opposite of that. I'm like, oh my God. Like, are you a bot? Like, is it even worth arguing with you right now? Or are you 8? Like, you'd have to be 8 or a Russian bot to not understand the sarcasm of this tweet. If I'm wrong and the summer fucking passes and we get halfway into 2026 without anything from this band, fuck it. I'll delete my account. You won. But something tells me, my brain, my actively working brain
Actively working.
that we're getting a new fucking Ice Nine Kills song this summer.
Facts.
But not a fucking Halloween album release, which you feel like is so specific to this band's whole vibe.
And that's why they're calling you on it, Sam. Everyone else is like, it's too heartbreaking to be true.
I see. I kind of see what you're saying. It's like, it actually is an unbelievable story on its surface. The idea this band is releasing an album in the spring.
Or if they release the album in the spring, it allows them to gear up for the craziest Halloween tour of all time.
That's an interesting perspective. I hadn't considered that, right? Summer festival circuit,
Yep.
followed by the Ice Nine Kills Halloween special.
Yep.
The Trinity of Terror.
They film a real movie every night and kill the entire audience every single night.
So a lot of people also started speculating. They're like, okay, well then, is that Slashing of the Christ thing actually a movie? Or have we begun to sort of like marketing roll out the next music video from Ice Nine Kills?
Oh.
I think it's a legitimate film because I don't know why you would involve all those names and present it as an original film.
Yeah.
Only to then circle back and be like, LOL, it's just a music video.
Oh, got you.
Right?
Yeah.
Seems a little strange, but I could be wrong. And then the other most consistent comment under this post was like, this better not be fucking the Silver Scream 3 and based on horror. And I'm like, all right, I don't...
You fucking
Sure.
idiots.
Okay. Yeah. Let's just have Ice Nine Kills sound like every other band. God forbid we have somebody doing something interesting and different. God forbid. We wouldn't want that. Please write a song that sounds like the fucking last Memphis May Fire album. But we beg of you. Insane. I can't with these fucking people
What
anymore.
a stray.
I mean, it's nothing personal against Memphis May Fire, but they are, as far as I'm concerned, the poster child for like the octane metalcore scene, of which there are a million different little fucking seeds of bands sprouting up that sound very similar. But you know how many bands that we have who write songs about fucking Art the Clown? Zero. That's what makes Ice Nine Kills fun. And then everybody in the fucking comments bitching about Ice Nine Kills being fun. There's literally a billion other bands for you to go listen to that are boring as hell.
This will absolutely be Silver Scream 3.
It fucking
Betting my life on
better
it.
be.
Yeah.
It fucking better be. Hatebreed will headline the 2025 Summer Slaughter Tour with support from Bleeding Through, Fugitive Malevolence, Gridiron, and more. The festival is also bringing Hatebreed vocalist Jamie Jossa into the fold to work alongside Sumerian Records owner and promoter of the festival, Ash Avildsen, moving forward, seemingly to work on like booking and expanding the event into something more global. This follows up last year's lineup, which seemingly struggled to move tickets and left many longtime fans disappointed with the lack of classic metal acts on the bill, which this seemingly remedies instantly by having Hatebreed headline it and throwing someone like Bleeding Through in there as well.
The fuck does Joss to know about globality?
It's a good question. I really don't know terribly much about Jamie Jossa other than that he also has a podcast where he like talks about metal. I think it's more of like an interview style thing.
Never heard of it, Sam.
I don't know that I want to say I've listened to an episode.
Never heard of it.
But I've never been a big Hatebreed guy. The irony of all this is that last year's festival lineup actually was more my speed,
100%.
but it just seemed to rub people the wrong way that it was called Summer Slaughter. It didn't do great, though, which I think it's like if you're running the numbers, it's hard to argue that. You know what I mean? Like, I might argue that, like, I thought all those bands were cool and it was kind of a neat package. It was like Veil of Maya, Brand of Sacrifice, Left to Suffer. But if it didn't sell great, I guess I can't blame them for being like, well, let's go back to what worked and we'll try to, you know, get more of the old heads to show up and then like throw them a couple new bands they haven't heard of before. Like, hey, check out this Malevolence. They actually sound pretty sick. Check out Gridiron. They're kind of neat. But interest level for you seems to be at...
No, they got Malevolence on this. So like...
Yeah, Malevolence is cool. But I feel like you would
interested.
much rather go see Malevolence, you know, build up with a couple other bands that are more your speed. I can't... You never mentioned if you were a Hatebreed guy.
I can't name a single Hatebreed song.
Damn, for what it's worth, neither can I. Neither can I.
I can
Moving
name
on.
songs that Jamie Jost has featured on. Like that one Bear Tomorrow song on Earthbound.
Oh, shit. I forgot that happened. God. I forgot that whole album happened, to be brutally honest. Not my favorite Barry
That's
Tomorrow
really
record.
it.
Margos. And finally, the entirety of the Australian metalcore scene will embark on the Hellbound cruise ship in October of 2026. Get a fucking load of this lineup. Parkway Drive. They named the fucking boat after them.
No.
Followed up now.
Okay.
Followed up by Polaris, Northlane, a band called the Butterfly Effect, which somehow I've never fucking heard of in my life. Make Them Suffer, In Heart's Wake, Bellhaven, Bloom, Ocean Sleeper, Diamond Construct, Wind Waker, The Glue of the Court to the Grave. Like, it's literally, this boat goes down, it's over for the Australian metalcore scene. It's over.
And well, not to sound awful here, it might. Have you seen the pyrotechnics Parkway Drive's working with lately?
Could you fucking imagine? Could you fucking imagine? Could you fucking imagine Winston McCall on a fucking door laying in the middle of the fucking ocean and Marcus Bridge swims up to it and he's like, I'm sorry, bro. There's not enough room. And then he just lets him sink to the fucking bottom of the ocean. Could you fucking imagine?
Who's the Butterfly Effect?
It's crazy that there's a band this high up in the lineup, like fourth build, that I do not recognize in any capacity in a sea of bands whose names I all recognize.
Future Static, I reckon. Bloom, I reckon. Relica,
Crazy.
I feel like I do.
Crazy.
Ches, I don't. Ches, I don't.
Ches is also the only other one. But that's the only other one.
Also, what is this whole Taking Back Saturday DJs thing? Like,
you're not into this?
Well, it doesn't really fit the whole theme.
Are you pissed that we're the only meme page who doesn't get invited to DJ events?
We got invited to fucking host an emo night once.
That did happen, actually. That did actually happen.
That did happen.
That's fair. We declined because we're actually...
But no one's putting us on a fucking boat, Sam.
You know what we need?
No one's putting us on a boat with all of fucking Australia.
We need a third guy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We need a third guy who we send on like these ventures. You know what I mean? Like, we contract him to, under the SOTS name, go DJ the Hellbound cruise ship.
You think Jamie Josta can bring us globally?
Yeah, let's reach out to Jamie Josta. He's like, I got a lot of ideas for your show. Cancel it.
Podcast equipment.
The Spotlight.
In the Spotlight this week, every week we alongside of our listeners will help shine some light on smaller bands within the scene. This week, Caillou's Nightmare over on Patreon recommends the track Corn Dog by RinRin.
Walking down the street right to the store. Tender recognize me come through the door. From the times that I've been here before, I'll always want more. Super yummy, it's a special flavor. Legendary savor.
RinRin.
Hailing from Australia, RinRin blends a pop sound that has a rock undertone that works so well, and they wrote a song about their love for corn dogs. I can't stop listening because it's so catchy. You can follow them over at RinRin Music Official on Instagram. You know what's
If we
so
all
funny?
do our part here,
Yeah.
we might be able to get RinRin on the Hellbound cruise.
You know what's so fucking funny? 2 days before we got this recommendation here from Caillou, I got like an email that's like, hey, would you be interested in reacting to a video from RinRin? They're a really cool up-and-coming artist. So I saw this pop up, and I was like, oh, yeah, I actually already fuck with this.
All right.
I went and spot-checked this artist, and they're fucking neat as hell.
Love it.
Also
I really
recommended,
like that name,
yeah.
by the way.
RinRin?
Just
It does
kinda,
good, yeah.
does something to me.
Do you like corn dogs?
They're not my favorite.
I've never been a huge fan either, if I'm being brutally honest. Patron Alex Pigeon recommends Kings Die Here by Ritual Division. This is the new project from Varial's vocalist / current Chiodos guitarist Mitchell Rogers. Debut EP Demonstration 1 actually came out back in March, and you can follow the band at Ritual Division on Instagram. Were you aware of this?
Wasn't aware of this, but
Non-internet life.
Mitch Rogers, Ritual Division, this is stuff I'm seated for, okay? I've got interest here.
I don't know if we ever talked about it on the show, the fact that like he's no longer fronting Varials, that like they have a new frontman, he stepped aside. Did you not know this?
No.
Yeah, he's out of Varials.
Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that Chiodos tour did really well, so.
Chiodos Store did seemingly do really well, actually. And finally, Marcus Patron Andrew Wessel recommends Choice by Defiance Hardcore. German hardcore outfit Defiance Hardcore have released their debut EP Blossom for fans of bands like Gel, Mindforce, and Terror. You can find them at Defiance HC on Instagram. Marcus, this was a fucking nasty track. Nasty little track. Easy recommend. Good call on Andrew's part.
Hold on. For fans of bands like
Yeah.
Gel, Mindforce, and Terror.
Mm-hmm. You got a problem with that first one, huh?
No.
I would understand if you had a problem with the first one.
I'm just trying to like I see Mindforce and Terror.
Yeah.
And those are recognizable hardcore names to me, meaning that we're essentially saying that this is for fans of like the equivalent of Architects and Bring Me the Horizon in the same RIYL. You're just saying the biggest hardcore names.
You know what? You know what? That could be true. Here's the problem.
Okay.
I've never in my whole fucking life listened to Mindforce or Terror, so there could be...
But they're big names.
There could be big nuances between their sounds.
I see. I don't think there are
Do you know
nuances
what I mean?
in hardcore.
I really don't think there are either, actually, now that you mention it.
And then Gel's here, and that's just a funny name to
I'm trying
say.
to spitball it. Cool band, though. Go check them out. Dated Discourse. Are big bands who refuse to play their old material fucking uncool dorks? Hayley over on Twitter posted the following this week. You're so uncool and too serious if your band got big and now you never play your old shit even just once for the fun of it. Like, even if it's not your vibe anymore. You know fans would lose their mind and it would be hilarious and you're denying every one of that? Marcus, before we move on to other comments.
I've got
thoughts.
I've got an immediate band that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And
they're standing behind us with a fucking gun to our head right now.
It's not them. It's a different band.
Because I'm ready to chew them apart next, so go ahead.
No, this band this band that I have in mind at some point still did play these songs, but they guilt tripped their fans about it so hard.
I know exactly who you're about to bring
the
up.
Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
Were out of their fucking minds from like 2014 to 2019.
Yeah.
Where anytime they had to play like Dogs Can Grow Beards All Over or just anything pre 318, they had to let their audience know they were not happy about it.
Yeah.
And that shit used to piss me off
Like
so
explicitly
fucking much.
before they play the song at the concert, they're like, here's that dog shit song you all love.
It was like, Mike, shut the fuck up, you little bitch up there.
Such
like,
a vibe killer.
Oh my God. It used to piss me off. Because this is also a time where we were seeing Devil Wears Prada pretty fucking frequently. It's like every fucking time, go up on stage and you know it's coming. Oh, here's that piss shit, dog shit song you guys all like. Can't wait to
It's
never
annoying,
play it again
right?
in my life.
It's annoying, right? Which I think is
Shut
at
up!
the heart of what Hayley is getting at.
Yeah.
It's also how I feel when I watch Danny Warsnop fucking burp his way through his old material because he could give such a little fuck about it and was so aggravated he even had to sing it to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, sorry we enjoy the good material.
Or
That's on us.
Don't play it at all, which is even crazier.
That's on us. I'm like 100% with Hayley. Like, these bands who are like, that's fucking... Our new stuff is so much, and like this old shit doesn't represent who we are. Like, enough. It does not have to be that serious. Like, we do not have to overthink this shit. Just like get the fuck up on stage, play, not the American average.
Shut up and dribble,
Like,
Danny Warsnop.
it's okay to make fans happy. I don't know why bands they fucking hate making fans happy. Bands are like, they look out into a crowd, they see a happy face, and they get fucking aggravated. They're like, that's not what we're about. That's not what they're... Here's the new album in its
happiness.
entirety. You're going to fucking hate every second of it. But it's what you deserve for liking us to begin with. Twitter users chimed in with their own thoughts on the matter. Hannah
As there
said,
one to do.
keep seeing this take on my timeline and bruh. Nobody is denying anyone of anything. If you as an artist don't want to play a certain song anymore, you don't owe a performance of that song to anyone.
I don't miss Twitter at all, bro.
I flat out disagree. I fucking flat out disagree. I think if you write great songs, then you can't just gatekeep them for the rest of eternity. You should lose your fucking licensing rights to them. You know what I mean?
I'll take this a step
Bring Me
further
doesn't play
in that
anything off of
direction.
Suicide Season. Other bands get to play those songs now.
Step further in that direction. Bands who defy us and deny us of the 10-year anniversary tour for an album
That too.
should be taken behind the barn and shot to death.
We talking about That's the Spirit just going
Talking about
gone.
Breathe Carolina not feeling like playing any of their recent albums in full. Fuck that and fuck you.
Did they not do that exact thing at When We Were Young Fest?
No, When We Were Young doesn't count. Like, but it's also the bands who don't play When We Were Young to do that. There are bands who are like fucking System of a Down, Toxicity, fucking 24-year anniversary. We're not playing the whole album in full. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Someone else did this recently. A bigger one that kind of came and went. I forget who. But
What are you talking about? Did what specifically? Didn't play
like a
old
10-year
material?
that kind of came and went, and like, well, you're not touring anyway. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about?
Take advantage of these opportunities because God knows you're not going to play any of these songs ever again in your normal touring
Yeah.
circuit.
This year should be what? 10 years of New Demons. Where is it?
10 years of New Demons. That's a very good point.
I See Stars?
Motionless had this to say on Twitter. I mean, it would be one thing if their new music was good, but it's so fucking bad. Please play your old stuff. Laughing my ass off. What I love about this, no one specified.
No one specified.
No one specified.
Bought.
This is broad
You
strokes.
fucking bought.
Broad strokes. No, but are they right? But are they right? Sometimes they do be right. You know what I mean? Like sometimes bands get a little too into their new material. Like sometimes bands get like they fall
Name
in love a
names.
little bit too much with their new material.
Name names.
And they start dropping way too many songs from their old shit.
Names.
Names?
Names.
Looking at all the band posters in my room right now. Just taking them all in real
The
quick.
amount of times that happens during a fucking show.
Let's see who makes the most amount of sense right now in this. Who makes the most amount of sense right now? The Plot and You don't play shit off their old like fucking albums.
Other bands don't play new songs at all, Lorna Shore.
And I understand that these
They don't
bands
write
start to
them.
get like a lot of new material and stuff like that, but like they get a little too into it. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to drop everything. And also you can like cycle stuff out. Speaking of Motionless, Marcos, do you remember how fucking crazy it was when we went to see Motionless live and they were like, here's City Lights live for the first time ever? Do you know how fucking insane that was?
Yeah.
Do you remember the energy in that room? Like we were witnessing fucking like one of the greatest moments in fucking like Motionless in White's touring history. That shit is sick. Like fucking pull an old one out. Do that thing. That thing Fall Out Boy's been doing has been a ton of fun.
The A-ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was like fucking random song generator. Here's something off of like our first EP. That shit is
Insane.
cool.
So cool.
That shit is cool. Queso said, so Avenged Sevenfold did an interview saying how they've grown up. This is the perfect example, by the way. They are angry. They are not angry teenagers anymore. So the music is different and they didn't enjoy playing the old stuff as much and that fans needed to educate themselves with how music evolves. I get that, but see, this is what I mean. ... It's like Avenged Sevenfold is like, hey, I got really high and wrote the absolute worst fucking song you're ever going to hear in your life. It's 11 minutes long.
Also, we've matured.
So we're going to have to cut Backcountry from the set list, but you're adults, so you understand. It's like, kill yourself. Fucking kill yourself.
Stop.
You cannot be for
Can't
real
say
right now.
that.
You can't actually seriously be saying that right now. Like, I don't want to hear the fucking Magic Clamshell or whatever fucking bullshit song was on the last album or the one before that. Like, at some point, you're putting on a show for people. If you were in your garage listening to your own music and you wanted to listen to strictly new shit, go silly.
Putting on a show for people.
Pull a six-pack out, go crazy. Listen to your whole fucking new album. I don't give a shit. But do not put a set together for your headliner and be like, these 5 abysmal songs and no more good old shit. Because it's not as adult as we are now.
This one does rub me the wrong way. It's like you can't tell fans to go educate themselves. You educate the fans. Like, what are we talking about?
It's like some fucking pompous ass fucking like behavior.
And again, all of this fine if the new music is good, but like
There are
in
bands
the
that
case
get a
of
pass.
Avenged Sevenfold,
There are bands that
we're
get a
not
pass.
close. Yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold ain't gonna pass. Scythe of Atlanta says, I agree somewhat, but if their old stuff completely goes against who they are now, but they play it anyway, it'll probably lack the passion it once had and might come across as extremely performative.
I don't know. You guys are fucking performers.
They're performers. They're performing. The whole thing is performative. Like they're just being people pleasers instead of being true to themselves. No.
Good.
No.
That's
Yes.
what I pay you to be.
That's the point. Like that's the point is to please people. I don't like that we always look at this
Why
like a
is there a
crime.
negative
It's like everything an artist
connotation to
has to
people
do has to be
pleasing?
for themselves. Like, oh, an artist has to fucking write music for themselves and they fucking have to sing songs for themselves. And it's like, then why even fucking leave your house?
Right.
Then just
All that
fucking why
leads
even
to
release it?
is Frank Ocean not releasing an album in 8 years. Fuck that energy.
Frank Ocean hasn't released an album in 8 years?
Or abouts.
That's crazy. People still waiting?
Yeah.
They're still holding
A
out
lot
hope?
of them.
That's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, takeaway here. Stop being a little bitch and play some old songs. Takeaway.
Agreed.
New music this week. Silverstein have dropped brand new single, Negative Space.
Burn the flash and lock me in a dark room. I'm overexposed, but the picture's black. You're not like me. We're perfect strangers.
Pink Moon, the band's second new album this year, hits on September 12th via UNFD. Anti-Bloom, which we reviewed on this show, released back in February. Marcos, thoughts on the brand new song and the accompanying music video, which we'll get into a little bit later, but is the follow-up to the music video that they released for Don't Let Me Get Too Low from Anti-Bloom.
Picking up right where we left off. I am so happy that we have an actual date on the board.
Yeah.
And honestly, September 12th has probably been circled on the board for a very long time. As soon as they decided this was a double album, but as a fan, always feels good to be on the other side of something like this and see a plan like this unfold and actually seem to unfold like successfully. You know, so many times you get like the double album promise and then either the double album, like the second part of it never comes, or like it gets delayed a year and a half or something like that. We see it with movies.
You know what I'm thinking about right now?
Who?
I'm thinking about a day to remember and whether we're going to get a volume 2 and when we're going to get a volume 2, because it's not like
we were never promised one this
right, like
year.
it wasn't explicit, right? But you do set up expectations.
That said, the whole thing with that is that it was sort of a surprise release. So
Fair. So we could get another surprise
at any
release. That's a good point.
I think this video is fine.
Yeah, fine is a good way to describe it. It has, I don't know, good intentions.
It's got good intentions.
They
sure.
wanted to make a fun video. They set out to make a fun video. I think they did a okay job.
Yeah, it's watchable. I'm glad I watched the video. I will not probably watch it again. New album features.
Okay, so you're jumping ahead. Yeah.
From Dayseeker and Sam Cassidy Pope.
Throwback, right?
Crazy
Throwback.
Had to have met for like the first time at When We Were Young last year.
No, they got to go way back, right?
No.
There's got to be a couple Warped Tour years under their belt. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Cassidy Pope was in what band?
Hey Monday?
That sounds correct. Yes.
It feels correct.
That sounds yeah. So we're talking about bands who like theoretically did a fucking all press Warped Tour cover shoot together one day. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that feels feasible to
potentially.
me. Paths have crossed prior to this. Dayseeker though, that for me is just like capturing lightning in a bottle. Like I think there's like a handful of guys right now where it's like, if you can get Rory Rodriguez, Will Ramos, Courtney LaPlante on a fucking song, you don't think twice about it. You just get them on the fucking song.
Yep. Also, this does remind me that like Dayseeker are not exactly like strangers to features. So hopefully this gets the ball rolling a little bit more for them as far as like, I'd love to see that name in the track listing of many more albums in addition to Pink Moon.
We had the 1 year anniversary of last year's big one, which was Rory featuring on Medicate Me by Rain City Drive.
Still a banger.
1 year this week.
Insane banger.
So Shane Told, vocalist for Silverstein, had this to say on the new track and music video, quote, "The video is the companion piece and sequel to Don't Let Me Get Too Low. The songs were written together over 2 days with our friend John London of Point North and it completes the story of myself playing a madman burying himself in the Las Vegas desert.
Sure.
Yes, it very much does do that. I had a thought while I was watching this video. So it's obviously Shane Told is dressed like the fucking goofiest detective on the planet intentionally.
Yeah. Trench coat and all.
Drinking his ass off as he sort of stumbles around Vegas trying to solve this crime. Or Reno. Does it say specifically? Las Vegas desert? Whatever.
Vegas, Reno's the same thing.
I had this thought. Do you remember? This is a throwback, by the way. Do you remember when the Matches filmed a video in London and they never got permission and they had to toss it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember this?
Which song?
So it was off like
What era?
it was off their, I believe, second and or third album. I want to say third. And
Abandon Hope?
and they filmed the whole fucking music video for it. And they had to throw it out because they didn't get approval from like the city of London to film it.
Stop.
I was thinking that watching this the whole time. I'm like, it's kind of cool that like, I guess you can film a video in Vegas, but I imagine you do have to go get like licensing approval from
This
like
shit's
the
not
city.
real anymore, by the way. It can't
What do you mean
be.
it's not
like,
real?
People go and film vlogs in London. Like, that's not...
You don't think this exists anymore? You don't think from like a commercial perspective, like in order to put this kind of stuff out, you don't have to sign. You're saying because I can go film a TikTok? I think it's different. I think it's different if you're filming a music
nowadays.
video. It's got to be.
What if it's...
I don't want to get too hung up on this, by the way.
I'm
'cause
getting
it
hung
is so
up on
fucking,
it. All right. The band is currently on
It's the
what?
fucking biggest aside imaginable. Well, no, I had one more question for you. Two more, actually. Have you noticed that because I follow John London on Instagram, he's kind of in the studio with a lot of people. I want to say he had like his hands on like that New A Day to Remember too. Like he's a writing. I want to say he's like worked with like fucking like Falling in Reverse too. Like this guy's been all over the place. Like I see his name pop up all the time. He's kind of found like a real big second life as like a writer producer.
I don't even know if it's Second Life. I think that's always been like the first... I don't know. Like some
Well, I mean, you
people-
came to know him as like the vocalist for
songwriting-
Point North.
Sure. But like at some point, like the songwriting is so good that it... Like these people ascend to having to... Like it's the same thing with like Cody and Wage War.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can't just keep that all to your own band. Like you have to go and share the wealth.
It's kind of crazy how that shit works, though, right? It's like you write songs so good that you're helping other people like fucking ascend,
100%.
right?
But it kind of then funds your project.
My other thing was like, what do you think of this as a lead single for the new album?
He could have been anything. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
lie. I was still gonna listen to Pink Moon.
We were very high on Anti-Bloom. Again, you can
It
listen
was
to that
really great.
review from earlier this year when it dropped.
But like the same thing with Anti-Bloom is like, granted, one of the singles, it may have been the lead single, was like one of the best songs this band's written in 2 decades.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But this could have been anything, and it doesn't at all. Like my excitement level does not dip.
Okay, I feel you. We're just like, we're locked in.
This is what I'm
We're locked in.
assuming one of another 8 great tracks.
Fair. The band is currently on the 25 Years of Noise tour with support from Real Friends, Broadside, and Greyhaven. I don't know how. I feel like we didn't even have a discussion about going to this, but I feel like we should have because that support is so absolutely fucking goated. It's insane.
Real Friends, Broadside, Greyhaven.
Yeah.
We must have something going on.
You think so?
We must have.
It was like the week I get married or something.
Maybe.
Silverstein stand at 1.4 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
Do you think when they tore off Pink Moon, it's 25.7 years of being a band for that long tour?
I think you're doing approximately in this kind of situation. Yeah.
26.
Loathe have returned with new song, Gifted Every Strength. This marks the band's first new music since 2020 full-length album. I Let It In, and it took everything, not including any reworked or instrumental tracks that dropped in the intermediary. Before we move on, Marcos, there was no music video for this song, but we did listen to the song itself. What did you think of it?
A fucking video really would have hit.
Don't get too hung up on it.
I'm getting hung up.
I'm with
on
you.
it.
Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me with you.
Everyone keeps telling me that Loathe are the face of music, and then they just refused to release a video for their comeback, it bothers me so much.
I think what was bizarre about this is that they didn't even like sleep token it up and release like some sort of like abstract visualizer to coincide with it.
Yeah.
It was just like the audio and like a still image.
Right. Instead, it's just like this weird ambiguous image, and it doesn't make any sense to me, and whatever.
I was trying to make like heads or tails of it, but I really don't think it's worth me like diving deep into it. I don't think there's going to be any sort of like profound realization that I get from like putting together the fact that like it feels like a patron saint inside of like a circle of light or something. A music video really would have gone. Man, not seeing this band for fucking like 5 years, a music video really would have hit. A music video really would have hit.
Really would have hit.
But in spite of all that, Marcus, we got a 6-minute.
6-minute new track. Honestly, full transparency.
Yeah.
First impressions.
Yeah.
I'm still not a Loathe guy.
Okay. Still a little cold on Loathe.
It hasn't clicked for me yet. I'm trying. I'm coming out listening to the new songs the day they release, and the saying, it's not bad. That's what I really don't want to get confused here, is that like it sounds fine. It works for me at times, but like it's a 6-minute track. There's still not a track here or in this band's discography that I think is like that song from them.
That's interesting. I think for a lot of people, it would probably be something like Two-Way Mirror, which is like, I would imagine, the biggest single.
I'm not a lot of people, Sam.
I let it in and it took everything from me and killed me. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm much more positive on this song than you seem to be.
Why? Like, what is it?
I think I just find it deeply fascinating. Like, I think the whole structure of the song, it's like really abstract, and the way that it's kind of like pieced
I don't
together.
disagree.
Yeah.
But at some point there also needs to be a hook.
No, I didn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand like the argument you're making, and I don't disagree with how you feel about it overall. But I think that this, for me, because I was really cool on I Let It In and It Took Everything. Like, that album did not click for me. I did not like Loathe's turn to shoegaze. I found that their heavier material was much more my speed and to my liking. And this is kind of like a bizarre in between. So in some capacity, I feel like Loathe is coming towards me a little bit more now. And that's something that I embrace. And I really like how nasty this song sounds in parts. And then that overall, it's just kind of like bizarre, and like it doesn't really have any sense of linearity to it. Makes it, for me, just kind of like it's one of those songs where I walk away from and I'm like, okay, yeah, only in the scene. I like it. I think that like perspective wise, Loathe feels a little bit to me like hearing a song like this is kind of like how I felt when we heard The Summoning, and it was like, oh yeah, it gets fucking weird. Like, it's hard. Like, you wouldn't understand. Like, it just kind of goes nowhere. But Sleep Token, I think, makes many, many more strides when compared to this song to hit a broader audience than Loathe is. Loathe continues to feel to me to be like a bit of a band's band in a lot of way, where I see a lot of people from like within like the scene and from actual bands being like, yes, this is like Loathe are a grand artistic achievement, and what they're doing is like really interesting. And I think maybe from like a musician's perspective, I would think that maybe they interpret it a little bit differently than you and I, who are more of the music fan perspective, right? And so the lack of the big hook or the melody
so, and I'm not saying that's what it needs, but like at the same time, so like you said it earlier, it's like, oh, I really like the tracks like not linear. Like that's cool, but it's not enough for me either. So I just constantly go back to the fact that like I don't get this band. I don't know.
Okay. So all right, let's
and like I really wish, like I wish a musician was able to explain it to me in a way that I think it mattered. that they're like a musician or a band.
Do you think
band
some
or
aspect of
whatever,
it is that like you hear a song like Gifted Every Strength and you can't really pinpoint exactly the other artist that it sounds like or exactly like the style of music that they're going for? Like I think everything about that is kind of what makes it fascinating. Is that it's very different. It feels like it's not chained to any individual like style or like the idea that it has to sound a certain way. Like I think those are all the aspects that kind of like speak to, and I feel like I'm like armchair quarterbacking from like fucking the back row at this point where I'm trying to like put words in other people's mouth and explain how they feel about something.
I feel like I'm forcing you to try that.
That's my interpretation about artists that I sort of like perceive as like an artist is that they are more abstract. They are doing things that are interesting. And like the fact that like they don't adhere to the things that like your expectations would drive you to assume that they would do, or what you think they pivot, like they're left when you think they're going to go right. Like these are all the things that I think like feel fresh and interesting to artists in creating music, as opposed to artists who listen to music from more of just like a, hey, is this fun and enjoyable perspective?
It just doesn't feel like it ever makes a good song is the trouble I have. And I'm not like, I'm fine standing firm in those feelings. Like I'm, again, fully happy being transparent here and confirming that Loathe still does not work for me.
Okay. Alternatively, I did find this to be pretty cool, and I'm excited to see where they go next. Interestingly, in Revolver's write-up of this release, Marcus, they mentioned that vocalist Kadeem France confirmed in an interview with the publication in 2023 that a new album was absolutely set to be released back in 2024. Obviously, that did not manifest, but we can assume that album still exists in some capacity, and we may very well get it in 2025.
It was around 23, correct me if I'm wrong, that they lost an integral piece of this band, did they not?
From my understanding, like their guitarist and potentially key songwriter.
I want to say yes,
but let me validate all that before I make assumptions.
I'll wrap up here a little bit.
Go ahead.
The band are currently wrapping up a support slot on Spiritbox's Tsunami Sea Tour alongside Dying Wish. From all accounts, what I understand is that tour has been massively successful. Loathe currently claim 1.7 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which I believe is crazy considering that is what I would call their floor at this point in time. A band that's been inactive for 4 years, finally releasing a brand new song.
It's very impressive. Like the mark that
a number like 1.7 only climbs from here.
I listened to this song, and my first takeaway from it, on the basis of the fact that I enjoyed it, was that I felt like I needed to go back and listen to I Let It In and It Took Everything again, just to see if I still feel the same way about it as I did when it first dropped. Connor Sweeney, guitarist, left in late 2021.
Okay, well,
So
those timelines don't really line up
they
then.
don't quite align, right? Turnstile have released double singles, Seeing Stars. And Birds. The new singles follow up the recently released Never Enough, the title track from the band's upcoming new album, which releases June 6. Interesting tidbit here, Marks, before we get into things. Hayley Williams is confirmed to be featured on the track Seeing Stars, initially saying on Instagram, quote, "If you hear a bird chirping on one of the new Turnstile songs, it could be me," end quote.
Sure, not the cool feature you would hope to come out of a project like that.
I think
Or a collaboration like that.
I mean, it is the feature you want on a Turnstile song. It's just it didn't manifest in the way.
This is the monkey paw, curling.
You get a Hayley Williams feature, but you will have to strain your ears.
She only makes
to
bird
try
noises.
to pull it from this individual track.
Yeah.
So this received like a double music video as well, right? The first half of the music video for Seeing Stars is this more like artistic, unrelated to anything else that happened in the prior music video, while alternatively Birds is a continuation of the music video for Never Enough, which ends with the band on a stage in the middle of a field, and then this video is them actually performing.
Okay. It's a fun video for sure. Blast.
Both of them? Did you feel both of them were fun? Do you feel like just, but what do you think overall? What do you think of the songs?
I think
very different
Seeing
vibes.
Stars is fine. I think Birds is a really cool video.
Okay. Seeing Stars is a bit more like whimsical. I guess I would almost like explain it.
Everything you see is happening in reverse.
I meant to say the song itself, actually.
Oh, okay.
Where it has like a more of an airy, like chill indie pop vibe, where alternatively Birds is a more straight ahead hardcore song.
Totally.
Sort of showing, theoretically both sides of this project. One that everyone confirmed was no longer hardcore when Never Enough came out, only for them to drop a song that sort of reaffirms that they still got a little bit of that in them. A little bit of that dog
Like
in
Never
them.
Enough wouldn't have fit right on fucking Pink Cloud Summer, whatever the fuck that album was called.
It was certainly not Glow On.
Glow On.
Right.
I don't know. I really, really like Birds.
In general, but
Just in general.
sure. Yeah.
But like the
You're like
energy
the
that
turtle
like the
kid.
video then like puts out into the world too is just so awesome. Just in general.
You were sitting there watching that video with me, and you were like, this is just what every concert should be. Like just a stage in the middle of a
Big
field somewhere.
Green open field. Yup.
Fucking no barrier. Like people just running up on that stage, fucking like doing backflips into the crowd and shit.
Yup.
There was fucking bleachers in like the back of the fucking crowd, which is fun. Yeah, it's just like the energy of Turnstile is perfectly captured. Definitely makes me regret the fact that I've never seen this band live. Absolutely someone I'd love to catch someday.
I'm sure the Never Enough tour is happening.
Yeah, so kind of. It's a UK EU headlining tour,
no.
which starts in June. So we're not up yet. For what it's worth, Marcos, the track Seeing Stars also features Blood Orange's Defiance, who previously featured on the song Alien Love Call from the band's last album and played cello on Never Enough, which I feel like is something I didn't pick up on, and
I'm sorry.
need to go back and...
You mean made bird noises on singles Never Enough?
I made bird noises. That's how everyone should describe their feature from moving on. It's like, yeah, Silverstein drops a new song with Dayseeker, and Roy Rodriguez is like, yeah, fucking some bird noises on there I dropped. You'll love it. Turnstile currently hold 2.1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Durry have dropped new song, I Don't Know, I Just Work Here.
So I'll sign the dotted line, cross my T's and dot my I's. Say the customer's always right, cross my heart, hope to die. I'll turn my frown upside down, lock my knees till I pass out. Sold my soul for the payroll, just don't ask me why, cause I don't know.
New album, This Movie Sucks, hits June 27th, and this marks the second single following the release of the title track back at the beginning of April, Marcos. We actually featured that title track in our spotlight, recommended to us by one of our patrons. Loved it so much, we bumped Durry up to series regulars.
Series regulars.
Reaffirmed by how good this song and music video was as well.
Durry continue to captivate. All of their videos just injected with all sorts of fun, high energy. The songs in general are fun and high energy as well. This band is just great vibes.
They're a fucking blast to listen to. They're a fucking blast to watch. I think underrated is this band's acting in music videos. It's almost, it's actually very impressive. Based on how many music videos I watch where everyone is sort of incapable of actually being as funny as they think they are in the moment, Durry does it sort of effortlessly.
Okay.
And the ideas and the concepts that they have and the way that like they work so well with like the songs that they've written, the fact that I Don't Know, I Just Work Here is sort of explicitly what the song is about and then how it translates so well into the music video. It's a beautiful fucking like cohesive project that they've created here, right?
For sure.
It's not just a funny video we made for a song. It's like, this song is funny. This video is also funny. This marriage between them is perfect.
Totally agree.
They will play select dates in England and Germany later this May and have a headlining show in Seattle at the beginning of June. You
The
can.
three biggies, Sam: England, Germany, Seattle.
Yeah, that's correct. Like, if you can make it in England, Germany, and Seattle, you can make it anywhere. I went ahead and immediately pre-ordered. This band has a cassette version of this upcoming album that comes with a fucking Nintendo 64 cartridge. And I said, yes, sir, please. Absolutely. Let me get a couple of those.
Let me get a couple.
My favorite fucking new merch thing that bands are doing is fucking video game boxes and shit for their album releases. Like, you had one that's incredibly sick. It's like Static Dress, right? And it's like a fucking Game Boy Color game or some
Yep.
shit. Insane.
Well, no, they literally released a game.
Okay, so it's even cooler than I thought it was.
Yes.
But like, there was another band, I think it was Origami Angel, who did like a similar thing where they dropped like a fucking like a Nintendo 64 box for their album, and I was so pissed I didn't get it in time.
The artwork was like Game Boy Colory for one of their
Exactly.
albums,
Like, and
yeah.
I got one of their hoodies too, which had like video game bubble Game Boy coloring on it.
Yeah.
But I was so pissed I wasn't able to get that album. So when I saw this and they were like limited quantities, I'm like, I'm snatching this shit up immediately. There's no way I'm missing out on this again. Durry currently have 160,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
Damn good.
Yeah. Signs of the Swarm have released ferocious new single, Hell Must Fear Me. New album To Rid Myself of Truth is out August 22nd via Century Media, and it's the follow-up to 2023 album Amongst the Low and Empty. Marcos, what did you think of the brand new track in the music video?
Brandon track's a ton of fun. It is just
Bouncy.
Yeah, bouncy is exactly how I would describe it.
Bouncy.
Guitar goes crazy.
Yeah.
Video, a little torn on.
Little torn on the video. Okay, what were your issues?
Parts I really like, parts I really don't, and it's tough because they're technically the same thing with one difference: makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Performance shots of the band dressed all normal, like gold chains, black shirts, you know the deal.
Adidas.
Signs of the
yeah.
Swarm, our boys, SOTS boys, and then
Our brothers in arms. Yeah.
the other version of those live performance, or just the performance itself of the song, where
They're like-
something I didn't mention is there are like busts and statues all around them, and then they're painted like those same statues, so it sort of gives like this little, I don't know, it feels right in universe that they look like this, that they are performing that way in those shots, in that setting.
When they're caked with all of this like concrete makeup, it just elevates the whole video to such a degree that when it pivots back and shows them performing without it, you feel like you're watching like a lesser quality video of
it feels
the
like I'm
same
being
thing.
robbed. It feels like,
And it's like, had they just committed fully, like, concept of the video be damned, I think it would have worked 10 times better.
it feels like every time they do like motion capture, like behind the scenes of like in a video game or a movie, like think of like the new Planet of the Apes movies, where it's like, here's this fucking insane cool CGI shot, and then here's this very average dude who doesn't look like a 600-pound monkey who like
Crawling around in a green
two
suit.
axes and that type
Yeah.
of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll go back. You guys looked real cool a second ago, and like the makeup.
It's like, here's how they filmed Avengers Infinity War, and then it's like Tom Holland yelling at a green ball that's an alien.
Right.
Yeah. But all that being said, I think this is a great lead-off single. I know we have our little tiny critiques. We simply can't help ourselves. But the song itself, I thought, was absolutely fucking baller. There's a riff that kept like sort of like coming back, and like somehow it got bouncier every fucking time they brought it, and it absolutely fucking sells this song. And Signs of the Swarm are arguably one of the funnest deathcore bands around.
Bro, this band likes words a lot, by the way.
What do you mean? In what way? Like,
let's talk about like the quantity here. We got Hell Must Fear Me.
Yeah.
That's 4 whole words
sure,
from a band
not that many. if we're being
composed of
honest,
4
but
whole
yeah.
words.
Uh-huh.
Last album, 5 words, Amongst the Low and Empty.
Sure.
New album, 5 words, To Rid Myself of Truth.
Marcus just
I'm
wants
just
every
like-
album to be called like Songs Good.
I'm not saying that.
this track is
I'm
called
just
4.
making an observation. Like this band, like they're not going to settle for calling an album Truth or a new song, Hell,
Sure.
they're gonna like give you the full context.
To be fair, Hell Must Fear Me, the song itself is written all as one word. So is that like a
Really?
cheat? Yeah.
We're gonna have to review it.
Yeah. We probably will. The albums will include features from Whitechapel, Lorna Shore, 156 Silence, and Prison.
Damn.
Loaded. Fucking loaded. The band will embark on a North American headlining tour starting this October with support from Mental Cruelty, 1056, Carcosa, and Face Yourself. Also loaded.
The Century Media Tour? Like, I know Mental
little bit,
Cruelty at least are on there.
Face Yourself is Sumerian. Signs of the Swarm currently sit at just shy of 200,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
There we go, boys.
And finally, Marcos, last one this week. Johnny Booth have released new single, Get Well Soon. This marks the band's first new music since the release of full-length album Moments Elsewhere.
Which was a damn good fucking album.
It was a very good album. We actually did review this on the show.
3 or 4 years ago at this point, I
Yeah.
want to say.
It doesn't even feel like this is that long ago. I hate myself for not writing the date. What did you think of this track and music video? And I am going to get the date on that album real quick.
Music video is slightly neat. It's got like some real lyric video energy to it. You get all of the lyrics displayed.
It's kind of neat though, because they're all like kind of like superimposed in like a fun way where it's like somebody said like somebody let the editor kind of go crazy on this one. They were like,
Lots
put
of
together
cool
something
effects,
fun. Yeah.
Some edits that are neat. I think ultimately I think I like the song more than the video itself, but
Yeah, I'm with you
more
on
than
that one.
anything else, just super happy to get Johnny Booth back.
I kind of fucking love the song. If I'm being honest, like
Oh,
if we're
really?
talking like most slept on artist of the week, it's Johnny Booth. Absolutely.
I think Johnny Booth are one of the most slept on artists in our scene.
There's one of the fucking gnarliest little breakdowns in this track. Like the fucking conviction with which their vocalist delivers every fucking line in this song, it goes insane. A lot of the little like quirky production stuff they do with like the intro and like the vocals and stuff like that, I thought it all worked incredibly well. For me, it's like they're coming out of the gate swinging on this one. They were like, Moments Elsewhere was a taste. Like now you're getting the meal.
Okay. All right.
2023 was that album, by the way.
Sounds right.
The band will support We Came as Romans on the Bad Luck Tour later this July alongside Currents and After the Burial. They currently stand at 60,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
Feels low. Let's get those numbers up.
That's what I'm saying. Slap on.
Like fans out there, we should do better.
Bump them numbers up.
The Breakdown.
All right, Marcus, let's review some albums.
Starting with The Host by Acres. Key bullets here at the top. Acres are a metalcore outfit from the UK that formed around 2014. They've been signed to Solid State Records since January of 2024. The Host is the band's third studio album, and it released the 2nd of May this year, of course. The Host was produced by Landon Tour. Sam, do you know them? Apparently they front a band called The Plot and You.
Yeah, I put that Dispose vinyl behind us today to show respect.
Interesting. So Landon
respect.
actually worked with the band on last year's What's It Like to Feel Worthless EP as well. Very good EP. As of this recording, they also claim 285K monthly listeners on Spotify. Some small background on the album, courtesy of the band. Vocalist Ben Lumber had this to say. The Host represents a bold step in a new direction for us as a band. We've always pushed ourselves to evolve with every album and never write the same record twice. This time, the process was unlike anything we've done before. Working with Landon Tours brought a fresh perspective and added a new flair to our sound that we're really excited about. He also shared this on the song Bloodlust, which I hope gives more clarity on the meaning of The Host, the name of the album. So, and I quote, "Bloodlust is a track about a toxic relationship between you and addiction we call the host. It's about giving in and giving up to it. You know it's bad for you, but you can't live without it. It's the perfect way to start a record, a first peek into the downward spiral of letting the host in and letting it consume you. Maybe, Sam, and this is the quote's over, maybe letting it in and letting it take everything, maybe.
Sure. Yeah,
Maybe
you could
something
say
like
that theoretically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marcus, 7-track album.
Yes. Previous album, Throne, not 7 tracks.
Previous album, Throne, not 7 tracks.
Previous EP, closer to the 7-track marker.
We got that lower covered.
I think it's about 5 or 6. One's like an acoustic cover, but this is being sold to us as an album, Sam. And I think with that in mind, my first takeaway is that this is this band's best album since 2019's debut record, Lonely World.
I think I agree with that. Yeah, I think I'm 100% in alignment with that one.
To sort of expand on that further, or to keep showering this band in praise.
Sure.
Listen, that record, that debut record for me, Lonely World, was a top 10 record in 2019 when it dropped. The material on here makes me feel the same way the material on there made me feel, whereas felt like I was rediscovering this band, rediscovering them here. Absolutely no notes. I think that this is some of their strongest material yet. And I think it shows a lot of growth and in my opinion, writing of the ship.
This is a significant step forward from Burning Throne. Significant.
Yeah. I struggled with that album. I really tried to convince myself I liked it more than I did, but ultimately I don't look back on it too fondly.
I think it fell a little flat, but it had a couple of incredibly good songs on it.
Now, I do think that last EP that dropped last year was it was super solid. It had some really great songs. I think Lost being one of them. That's the track that they had like the acoustic version as well. So I think they definitely had a little bit of wanted to propel that song a little bit. I think this record with some more love and attention from Landon Tours is really another step up from there. Even.
He's a key ingredient. There's no denying that. He was one of my big takeaways, so we can start there, Marcus. I think he makes every aspect of this band hit twice as hard as it ever has. The heavier parts sound even nastier. The vocals are buttery smooth in the hooks, and the overall tone has an air of dread that washes over the entire album. Individual moments where you can feel the producer's hand elevating in individual moment always knock it out of the park. Whatever the fuck is happening in Built to Bleed, for example, is pure magic.
100% agree. Two things that are my takeaways. So I agree a lot with the heavier parts sounding even nastier. I think they sound heavier than they did in the past on songs not worked on by Landon Tours. And what I mean by that, it's just like whenever this band got like real heavy, it always fell a little flat for me.
Yeah, a little bit of that Octane Core energy. You know what I mean? Where it's like heavy for the sake of being heavy, which, you know,
but it didn't have the punch that Landon can really
precisely
sell.
Where he makes it sound a little raw, a little grimy, a little fucking guttural.
And then I think something that this band excelled with was a little bit more of like the atmospheric stuff. And then you tag Landon in to help with more of that, and I think it just gets even better in this instance.
Yeah, and that was another one of my takeaways. The ambience on this album is incredible. There's a haunting, sinister, unsettling atmosphere that permeates these songs and creates one long, unnerving thread throughout the album. Opening track Bloodlust is masterful at setting the tone moving forward. And I think the lyrics, for what it's worth, also do an apt job of capturing this sensation of misery that the ambience has otherwise created.
Another takeaway I had was sort of the synergy and the cohesiveness between like all of the visuals and how they lend themselves to the sound. So Bloodlust, that video is fucking insane to watch. It makes you feel all the same ways that like if you just had it on mute, it would make you feel the same way that the song does make you feel when you listen to it, or the way that the artwork of the album makes you feel when you see it. And I think it does have, if you look very closely, that stupid little creature in the video, like looks like a sun or something.
I fucking hate
walking
his
up
ass.
to the door in the album artwork. And it's like
he's like pulling a tarot card that means you're gonna die tomorrow.
Yes. So his creepy ass is like all over, like the visual aspect, like everything here just sort of, there's a synergy that's really working for me.
For what it's worth, this is another aspect of the plot in you that I think sort of bleeds into this project as well, because we got these sort of artistic driven videos from all of the singles we got from the plot in you over the last couple of years that just sort of end up being sort of like these broad emotional beats and like artistically like what's the word I'm looking for? Like paralyzing visuals, right? Like just really like stark, strong, visual, artistic, sort of like directed music videos. And like Bloodlust just felt like one of those, right? And it ended up working really well for the song, right? And then the fact that this sort of like sound that Acres is sort of harboring here, you know, influenced by Landed Tours as well, sort of all speaks to this. I feel like what we sort of ended up doing is creating like a band that sort of has inevitably shared all of these influences with the plot and you. And what's crazy is that you look at a project like this and you're like, A, why aren't more bands doing this? But then like also B, is this what Landed Tours is going to be doing with bands moving forward? Because if we're just going to get bands that are the quality of the plot and you, we're about to be in like the fucking golden age of this scene.
Bro, it's the Greg Popovich coaching tree. Man.
That's precisely what I was trying to say.
We got championship caliber coaches coming out of every single one of these.
I appreciate that you were able to sum it up in a way that I'm never capable of. Marcos, the final takeaway I had here was I want to talk about the grit of this album. You know, we talked about it with the vocals a little bit, but there's also like this really crunchy guitar work that, you know, coincides with the harsh, like sort of throat tearing screams of anguish that are found across multiple songs on this record. And there's an overall vindictive attitude that I think helps Acres pack a very nasty punch. It makes this album feel sort of like mean in a way that I really like. I think that, for example, Not So Different is just like this truly explosive track.
I really love the closer too, for what it's worth, Around Again, which is probably the most out of place on here, but it's a different side of this band that we haven't heard much of. That super works for me. It's a little poppier. It's a little bit more not ballady, but like kind of there.
Weirdly enough, thematically though, I think it fits perfectly with the rest of the tracks on the album. It might be like a singular ray of sunlight that comes through the fog, but otherwise it still sort of exists in the context of that fog.
Also wanted to say, just generally love all of these track titles, Sam. Between songs like Staring at the Sun, Steal the Light, Built to Bleed, there's just some real great, like, all of those songs individually bangers, but just titles alone bangers too.
I love that 22 minutes ago you were like, Signs of the Storm, gonna calm down with these fucking like forward song names.
I didn't say they had to calm down. It was just an observation.
Built to Bleed, Marcos, I think is a singular song, really encapsulates all my takeaways and is easily what I recommend everyone check out to develop an overall feeling of what this record is meant to capture. That being said, the album is not without its surprises. A pivot like Steal the Light and its uniquely tailored beat-driven verses is a standout. Or alternatively, like you mentioned, Around Again, which has this sort of beautiful indie pop ballad style to it, counters the otherwise drearier tracks on the album with its bombastic instrumental, albeit still dour tone. Truthfully, it's hard not to feel like Acres have compiled their best, most compelling work on this album, and their collaboration with Landed Tours as a producer has paid dividends in helping them ascend in their style and sound, Marcos. It's truly impossible for me to mark this anything lower than an A+, as it's an exemplary release. And
dude, I'm right there with you.
Acres and Landons is a fucking marriage made in heaven.
This is the sort of, like, this just has like that Feldman, the Used bit of energy to it, where it's like two wonderful forces have collided, and it keeps resulting in really great tracks.
100%. Completely in alignment on that one, Marcos. That's great to hear. Really excited to see what Acres does next.
We have one more for everybody. Last but not least, it is The Ugly Side of Me by Tetrarch. Key bullets here at the top. Tetrarch is a nu metal outfit originally from, I believe it was Georgia, based in LA now. They formed around 2007 and signed with Napalm Records in August of 2020. The Ugly Side of Me is the band's third studio album, and it releases the 9th of May. So it's not out yet at the time of you listening to this, but it's out soon. The Ugly Side of Me is produced by Dave Otero, who previously worked on this band's Napalm debut and second album, 2021's Unstable LP. Dave's also worked with artists like Sam, your favorite, Cattle Decapitation, and then my favorite, Archspire, in the past.
Which is Marco's subtle way of saying these are artists that we never really engaged with.
We never
in the
really
past.
engaged
Yes.
with. But I do think Cattle Decapitation is still a fun band name. As of this
It's a great band name.
It is a great band name. As of this recording, the band claim just about 165K monthly listeners on Spotify. I went looking for like a little bit of background on this album, and I couldn't really find it, Sam. A lot of the press releases were just kind of flexes on how good this band is doing off of the strength of how
Give me a little bit of it.
some of the material on
One takeaway that I had
old
when I
records
was,
and this record are.
One takeaway I had when reading the press releases, they were talking about, hey, their guitarist Diamond Rowe is like one of the first female signed to as like a Fender official artist or something like that. I was like, okay, cool, that's cool.
There was some talks of like success on the Octane side of things, liquid metal, that sort of stuff.
Bands they've toured with, it was like, oh yeah, no, they supported Seven Dust and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like,
Seven
bands who
Dust
clearly probably
and
serve as influences for them.
another one I'm forgetting. But yeah, no, influences, Sam. Let's start there. Like, this band is new metal to their core.
Yeah, I mean, probably one of my biggest and I don't want to say least interesting takeaways, but the most
It's surface level.
brutally obvious.
Yeah.
Is that this is new metal resurrected in spirit and soul. It's like an artifact from the early 2000s, Marcos. The sound truly embodies a lost relic of the heyday of the genre that presents itself like everybody's...
It's a time capsule.
But not just a time capsule. It also feels like a cult classic that never existed. You know what I mean?
The artwork too, like that little fly on there, it kind of like looks like one too.
And then you watch like one of the music videos, and the way this band is like, you know, their vocalist got spiky blonde hair and stuff like that. Like they live and breathe this
They
shit.
lean into it.
Wearing like a Tool shirt. One of them, like, you know, the video starts off and it's like a kid sitting in his room, and it's got new metal weird green aesthetic filter over it. There's Slipknot posters on the wall. It's crazy how much they live this.
Small rewind back to the promo shots of this band.
Yeah.
One of them in a Tool shirt and one of them in a 9 Inch Nail shirt, but it's like the shortened NIN, and they just look like the same exact shirt, and you just realize that, like, no, those are two different bands they're representing.
Right, but that was the style,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
it's like this band embodies it. Like everything that they do is like a clear like love letter to new metal in that era of new metal specifically. I think if you pine for an era of metal that has left you feeling that specific era of metal that has left you feeling unfulfilled, this will capture that magic for you and fill the void. This band doesn't really bring the outside influence of modern metal / metalcore to the fold, but instead does an admirable job of faithfully reviving that sound. It feels like a novel take, honestly, compared to the litany of bands we've seen in the last few years, strictly paying tribute to Deftones, Slipknot, and Linkin Park. So, you know, a lot of what we have seen in this scene, Marcos, is the Linkin Park straight ahead radio rock single with a little bit of a metalcore influence breakdown, right? Tons of that. We've seen a lot of bands also do this sort of like shoegaze adjacent new metal that Deftones popularized. And then the more angry, angsty Slipknot approach that you'd get from something like Artificial Suicide by Bad Omens, right?
Okay.
So you have like these three pillars, and I feel like most bands within our scene have not moved outside of them. Where Tetrarch kind of just feels like a wide swath, like a broad stroke of like early 2000s metalcore, and they just said like, we don't want to sound like a specific band within this realm of like artists. We just kind of want to capture the overall feeling that all of these artists had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a big part of it that I get is in the vocals, Marcos. So the vocalist Josh Four has a voice that's lab grown. Like it's explicitly made for this genre.
Yeah, it's real raw.
It beautifully encapsulates the exact tone and cadence of their forefathers. It's some amalgamation of Jonathan Davis and Chester Bennington, and he replicates his influence and carves out his own unique delivery to exist alongside of them. And whether it's like the angst-driven verses or the gritty yet melodic choruses, he serves up this pitch-perfect delivery that truly sells the project's entire mission statement. The man is completely in his bag on a track like Never Again, absolutely nailing the hook and crafting a modern nu metal hit. And it's worth noting that guitarist Diamond Rowe also provides an ideal contrast to any instance where she's giving the opportunity to chime in with her voice as well.
Really cool, like understated vocal dynamic here.
Yeah, and it's really, I don't want to say it's underutilized, but it's like,
Well, it's certainly not it doesn't feel like the band is actively selling you on this being like a feature, like a cornerstone of this
I really
band.
want to say it's only really in like 2 tracks where
Yeah.
it feels prominent.
Which is what is a little more exciting about this band too, is just like there's clearly some other avenues they can go down if they really wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Like the fact that they're holding back means that like there's more opportunities in the future to utilize
Exactly.
this. Yeah.
Here, I just wanted to talk about like just the fact that it just staying on vocals. It really is a unique delivery. To the point where like, as much as like you can talk about people like Chester, Jonathan Davis, like this is a voice where like I really struggle to pin it down.
But that's what's interesting, right? It's that like you can pull an influence, but he doesn't sound just like Chester Bennington. He doesn't sound just like Jonathan Davis.
Exactly.
He's certainly not beatboxing at any point in one of these songs, right? But there's something about like the spirit of all these artists that like you really hear in his voice, which is so fascinating.
Definitely one of the shining parts of this band.
Mark's another shining part of this band. Let's talk about riffonomics.
Riffonomics.
There will be no recession in the state of metal riffage if the chuggalicious and intricately layered Live Not Fantasize or the wily freewheeling solo from Cold have anything to say about it. The riffs are addicting from the jump, with songs like Erase honing a sturdy foundation of interweaving instrumentals that coalesce in a scene-stealing moment. I think that so much of the instrumentals are what are really like the foundation of this record. And like I said earlier, and it really helped sort of like convince me that I was listening to just a really overall talented band, like where every member was really like driving home what it is that they were doing here.
You really sold me earlier on the idea that this band feels a bit like a cult classic. Mm-hmm. Like this album itself feels a bit like a cult classic, and that everything here just feels like it was made for a different time, but that it also was successful in that time had it come out.
You heard Follow the Leader, you heard fucking Iowa,
Yeah.
you heard fucking Hybrid Theory, but like, did you ever check out this little band called Tetrarch?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yes.
Right? Like in that sea of like new metal bands, there were tons of them that like were popular at the time, you know, bands like fucking Adema or Taproot or fucking Mudvayne, right? Who never really broke out to the degree that like a Korn or a System of a Down did or a Slipknot or whatever. But like they were also pretty good. You know what I mean? Like there were also
They're
like really
alright.
good bands in there. And that's what kind of Tetrarch feels to me. It's like you missed one. You know what I mean? It's like in checking out all those bands, you missed one.
It's for a band that does sound somewhat like modern in some capacity. This does feel like a time capsule.
It sounds modern in the sense that like the production is like extremely crisp and all that stuff. But for all intents and purposes, like I said, it does not try to like incorporate a lot of like newer styles of metal into the proceedings. Like it's really just sort of like a straight ahead ode to that era of new metal. I think Tetrarch speak to a wealth of bands with which to pay tribute to from the heyday of new metal. The unique flavor of the sound has an abundance of influences to pull from, and They feel like they paint with significantly broader strokes than many of their contemporaries. They also name songs like a new metal band, which I find deeply amusing. Because what is a new metal album without songs called Crawl and Cold?
I saw that and I'm like, are these covers? Like, what am I about to hear?
Again, love letter. It's an incredibly consistent record, begging you to roll the dice on any track and walk away not feeling fulfilled and with a complete understanding of what the band is going for. For what it's worth, though, Headspace might be that bitch.
Real quick, wanted to sneak this in because I just remembered it. Couple of the tracks on here remind me a lot of like some of the stuff we left off with Of Mice and Men on.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, you're not terribly far off. Of Mice and Men does feel like they were trying to capture a level of that energy as well.
Yeah, just wanted to sneak that in.
More
modern comparison.
Ultimately, Marcus, I thought this was like an easy A- for a band that somehow feels like they are still only scratching the surface of what they can truly accomplish.
I'm closer to a B+, but that's not far.
Nice to go into a band that you and I have never really engaged with, check out their brand new record, and walk away finding something to really love.
By all accounts, pretty happy with it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. As always, thanks for listening, everybody. If you're hearing us on Spotify or Apple, please leave 5 stars. If you're watching us on YouTube, drop a comment. Let us know what you thought of all the new music this week, the news, these new albums, and leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the show. Thanks. We love you. Bye.
Good